Hello, everyone, and welcome to the info session on the Interdisciplinary Leadership Program in Ghana, expected to run next summer. My name is Amy Soub. I'm the Assistant Director of the Office of International Services, and I help coordinate the study abroad programs at GSU. We have been running a lot of faculty-led programs in the past, since before 2015, but we've been running more and more each year. Of course, COVID put a little pause on that, but we're hoping to get started again this coming summer. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll do other introductions here. So. A little larger. All right. So we have a presentation for you today where we will go over hopefully all of the details you need to consider participating in the program. The dates are June 9th to the 18th, and today we'll be going over a variety of topics. We'll talk about the program description, the course information, the World Stride support. They are the provider helping us do all of the logistics on the ground. We'll go over the itinerary, health and safety, scholarships, application process, deadlines, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. Okay, so I would like to pass this over to Dr. Cummings and Dr. Martin to talk about why they chose Ghana and what this program is about. And on the next slides, there's more information about the course itself.
Great. Okay, so for me, I really wanted to, in starting off, I wanted to start doing programs, study abroad programs for our students. I think that because we are a leadership program, and given the fact that all of our students and all of our concentrations do and are expected, and we would like them to have more exposure to international affairs, or opportunities to grow their understanding and of leadership issues abroad. We really wanted to give them, and we want to begin putting this as part of our program and getting them more exposure and giving leaders an opportunity to really broaden their ability and their perspective on leadership. I think we do a lot with that in our program, or in terms of our interdisciplinary nature, but really now with this program is really thinking even more broadly about that. And so I'm really just trying to provide a deeper level of understanding and growth for our students in leadership. And so in looking at different areas in which we can go, when you really look at the continent of Africa, it is one of the largest growing spaces in the world in terms of population and money being invested in it. And so wanted to look at one of the countries within Africa and selected Ghana because I think that given its kind of where it is industrially, its structure, some of the other things and safety things, I think what we would want for our students. Also making sure that they're getting a very much exposure to a space that still has the feel of an African nation. I think Ghana for me was a great choice, and so that's why I selected that space. And when you look at many of the things that are going on from both in the culture of Ghana, but also the professional and the business side, it's just a great space to go and learn and to share and to grow, and a space where we can grow, where our students can grow and they can learn from our students. Dr. Martin, I don't know if you wanted to add anything, but he may not be available right now. Actually, he may not be available to speak right now. So, but that's what I have, and I think if we have more questions, we can definitely ask toward the end.
All right, and here's just a map of Africa. And just to give you an idea of where Ghana is located, it's right here in West Africa. And, I say, overall, it's a very safe area to travel to. And we've brought groups of students there already in 2019 on a different program. We plan to bring them back again this summer as well. So we've had very good experiences there. Here's a little more information about the course. If Dr. Cummings, if you'd like to just explain a little bit more about the options that the students have to take it for credit.
Absolutely. So again, we wanted to develop a program that was thoughtful about our three concentrations, and so students in each concentration would likely just take their course, and the course that aligns with their concentration. All of these courses are kind of more about flexible courses. They are like emerging trends courses or issues and trends, and so these are courses that where students would already be looking towards developing their capstone work, and so the program is really designed to look at your capstone, but also to put a lens towards this experience. And so, for example, there could be students that are in the class. We're going to have two different sections. One, some that are going to Ghana, and some that are not. And those students would not have to add that. But those that are going, we would want them to be thinking about how this experience both kind of informs their capstone, maybe, and possibly, and but also it informs their understanding of leadership and how they see it connecting to their broader their field of study. And so again, you take a SOUP class, NIPSI, and these are already part of the program of study. So it's not an additional class for you to take, unless there could be a chance that maybe you've already taken the class. But these courses come toward the end of the program, so unless you're in year 3 or 4, if you're like in year 1 or 2, you likely would not have taken this already.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
And for the alumni, if you are interested in participating, what we'll have you do is register again to GSU as a non-degree seeking student, and then you can audit the course for $75. So you wouldn't have to take the course for credit, but of course those who can take the course for credit, it's an excellent way to earn those 3 credits, and you'll pay your normal GSU tuition and fees as you would if you were on campus. Great, so thank you so much. I will pass it to Laura, who is our representative on the session today from World Strides. And World Strides is an organization that offers many different educational experiences around the globe. And they're here to really help plan and support us. So Laura, if you would like to say a few words about World Strides. Oh, you're on mute.
Unmute button. I work specifically with graduate programs, but we work with schools from K through 12. We have a large group that works with higher education. Our purpose is to make your program as seamless and as well run as possible so that your staff and faculty can concentrate on the educational aspect of your program. We are obviously doing a lot of work with COVID, so we're staying on top of all the changes in requirements in the United States, requirements in every country. We do a pre-departure meeting with everyone who's going on the program to talk about what to expect when you get there, what precautions to take. We also work with our in-country ground team and work with them also to meet the requirements that we have on maintaining those safe procedures for everyone. So we work with transportation, your hotels, meals. We offer for you as you travel an online app, which you can download before you go. So if you don't have Wi-Fi access, you can still have access to the app. We include on there all the information about COVID. We also add touring information, so names of restaurants, cultural activities you can do, and you do have some free time in this schedule so that you can take advantage of exploring on your own safely. So safety risk are huge things for us as well as with your school. So we're there just to just provide support so that your team can work on the academics and we work on logistics.
Great, thank you. Okay. Well, I can go over a little bit about the hotel. So you'll be staying in the city center at the Accra City Hotel, and this is very centrally located with nearby attractions within walking distance. There's a cozy international restaurant as well as 2 bars, a sun deck with shaded loungers, flanks an outdoor pool. So I'm sure on those hot days you can cool off in your free time. And there are other amenities at the hotel, such as a gym, tennis court, and business center. You will have daily breakfast at the hotel every morning. There's wireless internet, tax and service charges, and any gratuities for meals are included. We do have shared rooms set up for the students. And if you're interested in a single room upgrade, you can certainly request that. And there is an additional fee for that, which we can share with you if you're interested. All right, Dr. Cummings, would you like to go for the day-by-day itinerary, or Laura? I'm not sure. Yes.
Either one. I can talk about the days we're touring and you can talk about the days you have visits.
Sounds like a good idea. Let's do it.
We have you arriving on Thursday, June 9th. You arrive, it's early evening, so we don't have anything else planned for that day. Just to pick you up at the airport, get you to the hotel and checked in, and then you'll have your evening on own that night. It might be a good night just to stay in the hotel and have dinner and start exploring on Friday. So we have on Friday is just your arrival. So again, we're not doing anything on that day other than just getting you into your hotel. So for the weekend, we've planned cultural activities. So on Saturday, we'll do a full day tour, and you'll have a guide who speaks English so that if they can answer any questions that you might have. We'll stop for lunch during the course of the day. Lunch will be on your own, so you can explore some of the little places to have lunch in town. And then we'll take you back to the hotel, give you some time to rest and recharge, and then there'll be a welcome dinner that night. We'll take you out to the welcome dinner where you'll be served authentic local cuisine so that you can, again, immerse yourself into the culture of the country. After dinner, we'll return to the hotel, and then there's free time after that dinner is over. Sunday, we're also touring. We're going to take you to the national park. We've included the admission to the park. There is a canopy walkway that's 100 feet from the forest ground if you're feeling adventuresome that day. And then we'll have lunch there and then take you for a castle tour in the afternoon. We'll take you back to your hotel where you can spend the evening and have dinner on your own. Again, taking the time to explore the local culture. And then on Monday, you'll start with your business visits.
So with each of the visits, we are working and wanted to make sure that we got exposure to all of our concentrations. And so here we're going to be looking at a higher ed leader and working with them on the final details of each of the visits have not been all the way ironed out. But what we do know is that each of the visits will be focused and concentrated on each concentration. And so the whole group will have those experiences. And so we'll be talking and discussing leadership issues within higher education, as well as some of the political and legal issues that also exist within Ghana. And so we'll have an opportunity to engage dialogue discussion, maybe hear from some leaders, do some presentations, and as well as also maybe do a little bit of work as well. So expect to, again, an opportunity for us to grow and learn in that space. So that's the first day. And then I think with all of these, there's lunch, and I think most of them have dinner on our own. And we did a lot of, so you'll see that so we did want to include as many meals as we could, but we also wanted to kind of keep the overall cost down. So you'll see some dinner on your own, but also being that you were in this country and this may be your first or only time you're going, we want to make sure we gave you plenty of opportunity to have some time outside of, like, we're going to work and then we're going to give you an opportunity to quote unquote play. And so again, on Tuesday, still with higher ed, it may be a different organizational group. It may be the same, but I'm not sure. But again, we'll be focused on climate issues as well as diversity in higher education. And again, these are some of the things that as we've learned with our program, regardless of how we're thinking about them, even though we're looking at them in one context, there's opportunities for you to still think about them in terms of, particularly with our interdisciplinary nature, to how they may influence some things in your own context. So that's on Tuesday. So then on Wednesday, still on higher ed, but now looking at more about opportunities for students to, okay, how can they really get some hands-on experience and really look at some actual practical things that are happening within higher ed and participate in a bit of a strategy challenge. And so a lot more of the details of that will come out, but really given an opportunity to come up with solutions to actual challenges that are going and that agencies in Ghana are facing with respect to higher ed. And so you'll get an opportunity to really dig into and do some work there, which I think is really cool, because this will give students really a really great opportunity to bring what they have and the leadership and the knowledge that they have to supporting some growth opportunities for the agencies that we're working with over there. And again, lunch, a hotel, and then as well as dinner on your own. So Thursday, again, we're going to be moving more towards nonprofit and service learning. So we'll have an opportunity to get some connections with some of the local organizations and work again with some of the work that they're doing in their local neighborhoods and community, and figuring out how we can support that work, learning about what they're doing, sharing ideas, and then moving forward with again, opportunities to support and help them to confront challenges that they're actually dealing with. And again, we wanted to have plenty of opportunities for our leaders to really be engaging into the challenges that are going on there, but also have a very reciprocal nature to what's happening. And so it's not just you getting information or you giving information, but we're learning and growing together. And so that'll be that. And then there'll be a farewell dinner on that day as well. On Thursday. So we'll have a big dinner, and that'll be, instead of on our own, we will do that all together. And that, again, local cuisine as much as you can. I mean, they say local cuisine because there's also, in any of these spaces, there may be a McDonald's there or something. So you could find cuisine that is more Americanized, but also there's going to be plenty of opportunities for you to partake in some of the dishes that are local to Ghana.
This is Lauren. I don't mean to interrupt, but we do take that into consideration, so that for any meals that are provided to you, there will be options. You don't have to eat things that you don't know what it is or you're not comfortable with. So we do add a little Americanized food into each of our programs so that no one feels uncomfortable and no one starves on the program.
Excellent. And then Friday, return home. So I think I would assume we leave in the evening. Is that right?
Yes, it's an evening flight.
Yep. And so I would, that day we likely will have some opportunity to again do some more exploring, get out there, and again there will be plenty of opportunities for you to think about what are some of the things that you want to engage in while you're there. While they're doing a great job of providing a little bit of touring. There's going to be a lot more that you can do, and so we encourage students to do that. But also we ideally we had this for a few days longer as well, but it just the cost of it. We wanted to make sure that we were being cost conscious and making sure we were thoughtful that students may not have may not it may be pricing some people out. I mean, even though a good portion of ours is paid for, I didn't want to price out students, and so we shortened it a bit. So this will be the last day, and then I think we would get home on Saturday morning, midday.
Great, thank you so much for that explanation of the itinerary. So yes, of course, health and safety is a priority. And currently, Ghana is at a really good level. Typically, pre-COVID, we would be fine going to a level 1 or level 2 country. Nowadays, a lot of countries are at a level 3 because of COVID. So the travel advisory for Ghana is level 2 for the Department of State and a level 1 for COVID, according to the CDC. So we're hoping, it will stay at a very good level like that. And GSU and World Strides will be closely monitoring the travel advisories and any other health and safety risks as we get closer to the travel period. Regarding COVID, there's actually a lot of material that World Strides has to help just answer questions and support you while abroad. The requirements for traveling in this period are changing every day. So, there's a good chance you will be required to do a rapid test prior to departure and upon return. So that's something that you would need to be prepared to cover the cost of if that's the case. Our international health insurance does cover treatment for COVID, just like any other medical condition. And we've also added a quarantine coverage up to $2,000 per participant. So they're, in the case that to quarantine, we would have that coverage as well. So I mentioned that you would all have the international health insurance, and if you need more information about the plan, I can certainly share that with you. But we've also added cancel for any reason insurance, which will help students protect, your financial investment, and that will allow you to receive up to 75% of the non-refundable fees up to 72 hours prior to departure. And if students are interested in adding interrupt for any reason insurance, that would be if you had to cancel while you were already traveling with the group. That's something extra that you can certainly inquire about, and I can give you more information on. Okay, so the program fee is $5,400. Now, that does include a lot of items. It's got the international flight, the accommodations for the whole time in the hotel. You do have 2 meals per day. All of the, the planned activities have the transportation and guides, cultural immersions, and company visits included, and the academic engagements as well. And we've included the risk management and health insurance, as well as the cancel for any reason insurance and visa fee, because we will be getting, helping the group apply for the visa, so the fee for that is also included. So some items that are not included are 1 meal per day. Since we're including 2, if you eat normally 3, then that extra meal you would want to be prepared to cover. There are some required vaccinations. So in addition to COVID-19, you also need yellow fever vaccine, typhoid, Hep A, Hep B, and malaria, which are usually pills that you can get prescribed to take while you're abroad. And then, of course, any additional personal expenses or souvenirs that you may want to purchase. So we do have a study abroad scholarship in our office, which can award anywhere between $250 and $750. To be eligible, you must be an active GSU student. And there's a study abroad scholarship application that you will fill out. And you will need 2 letters of reference. They could be from your current faculty, they could be from an employer or your academic advisor. We'll also need you to write an essay with a follow-on project, and the prompts are all in the application packet. And then you will also want to add your resume with the application. The deadline is March 1st. And I'll share this PowerPoint with you, and you can access the application through the link here. We do have the deadline set for January 26th for you to submit your application and $500 deposit. I also have the link to the study abroad application packet in this presentation. So once again, you can access it that way. We do have them both on the GSU website as well under study abroad, but sometimes it's easier just to have it in the presentation so you can access it straight that way. And we'll be sharing the full payment schedule with you very soon as well. If you do not have a passport, you should apply for one. I would say as soon as possible with the holidays. I know that there will be additional delays. Right now, passports are taking 8 to 11 weeks, the regular processing time, or 5 to 7 weeks if you expedite it. So I would recommend expediting it and applying no later than January 15th. That way, you're sure to get it back with plenty of time to then apply for your visa. My plan is to collect all the passports and visa applications by March 20th. With that said, we will, once we get closer to that time, we'll plan a meeting where we can have everyone, kind of walk them through the visa application. Because what we need to do is first fill out an online application, and then I'll be collecting the documents and shipping them to New York, the Consulate of Ghana in New York. And another thing to keep in mind is if you're planning to travel and you need your passport between March 20th and June 9th, let me know, because we'll have to work around that somehow, since I will collect your passport and apply for the visa. We want to make sure that you have your passport when you need it. So to apply for a passport, if you don't have one yet, you can go to your local post office, and some local public libraries also offer passport application processing. You will fill out the passport application, which you can do online, and then print it. You'll need 2 passport photos. So you can get them done at CVS, Walgreens, or oftentimes the post office will offer to take your passport photo. You'll need a birth certificate. Usually the original birth certificate is what people use, but there are some other options on the website. So if you go to the government website for the to apply for a U.S. passport, you can check out the other options. You'll also need an ID. So a driver's license or state ID is perfectly fine. And then you'll pay the fee of $145. I would say just to double check all the fees and methods of payment. Typically, they want you to pay by personal check or. And then if you will be expediting, which I do recommend, it's $60. So we are actually pretty lucky, because just a few weeks ago, the processing time, the normal processing time, was 18 weeks, and it just went down to 8 to 11 weeks. So luckily, that's been a benefit for us. Excuse me. If you already have a passport, I would recommend looking at the expiration date because you want to make sure it'll be valid at least 6 months after departure from Ghana. Excuse me. All right. I'm going to stop sharing and we will open this up for questions, and I'm just going to take a minute to have a drink of water. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Donna Williams. I have a question. And this is in terms of the class itself, the class that we're registered for. Would we have to do any follow-up work or any type of, and I'm an alumni, so I wouldn't be currently in the class, I would audit. So would there be assignments or a syllabus or anything that we have to complete when we come back, or as part of the as part of the trip?
I mean, the short answer is yes. But I mean, I don't know. How do people that are alumni, how have they usually done it, Amy? I'm not really sure. That's a good question.
Yeah, no, it is a great question. So typically for people who are auditing, whether they're alumni or a current student or maybe even a community member, we definitely expect them to participate in everything in country. We definitely require them to participate in the pre-departure orientation and any, we'll usually have like a welcome meeting so that the group can meet each other once we're all confirmed. If there are class times that are going to meet prior to departure, we really encourage people who are auditing to participate in those because once again, it helps with, building relationships among the other participants and being more informed about, where you're going and what you'll be doing. As far as final projects or assignments that are due outside of being in country, then those typically are not required by the students who are auditing, just because they won't be getting a final grade. So yes, if there's a final project or paper that's due outside of the program, then yeah, typically we don't require that. But I would say, if there's a project a group project in country that you're working on, we would like you to be part of that. Of course, it's up to the professor's discretion. So.
Yep, I would agree with that 100%. I would think if you are just auditing the class, I mean, people who audit the class or who audit any class may not get a final grade because they may not even do a final project. They're just getting kind of the knowledge. They're there to soak up the information. So, yep, you would just come and participate, as Amy said, while in country.
Okay, thank you.
That would be it. And the students that are actually registered in the class need to do the final stuff.
And I have one other question. Are there any other opportunities to offset the cost in terms of scholarships outside of the scholarship that you mentioned? Are there any other scholarship opportunities that you know of that could be potentially used for this type of experience?
That I know of offhand, no. However, we sometimes encourage students to be creative on, thinking, I don't know if there's, we have had students do like a GoFundMe or, reaching out to family or friends. For our service learning programs, we do have students that do, fundraisers and might even reach out to their church. But of course, you would want to see if that's appropriate or not, and then your program and your contacts. However, if I hear of any other scholarship opportunities that could apply to this program, I will certainly share them with the group.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any
to do it. It is why they do put you on a payment schedule so that you can do it kind of over time. But typically, it is from my experience, kind of an out of pocket cost for students outside of like small fees that they can get reduced.
Yes, and I mean, you could talk to financial aid if you're interested in, looking at your options from that point of view, maybe a private loan or something. We don't see that a lot, but we have had students take out an educational loan to help pay for study abroad.
Hi, my name is Maiti. I'm in the NIPSI program. I had a question about is it how would it look about if you want to bring your spouse or somebody if you wanted to bring someone, is that okay, or is that, I mean, what's your thought on that, or what we can do?
That's a great question. Dr. Cummings, would you like me to give my input on that, or?
Oh yes, please.
Okay. Let's just say it's not out of the question. We have had, some programs that allow a spouse, and we would have them apply as a non-degree seeking student and audit the course. So we would still have the same expectations from them to, just participate in the essential meetings prior to departure, and then all of the activities on the ground as well. So as long as the program allows for it and GSU is okay with it. In general, GSU, we have been able to do that in the past. It's just as long as there's no changes since COVID. But I suspect that if we can allow students, and we've been able to allow spouses, that we could still do it. So, but I would just want to confirm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would say from a program standpoint, I don't see any problem. But I do think that I think if the expectation is if they're auditing the course, that they participate in stuff on the ground, then we will want them to do that. So.
Okay, so I guess so basically he would pay the same, all the steps and everything I do, he'd do the same thing instead of, it'd probably be better that way, because I'm thinking if we did a separate ticket, then it might be an issue, and right? So okay.
Yeah, I would think it becomes a challenge to be with the group
right
if you're not with the group. I don't know, Amy.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree. Yes, we would definitely want him to just be with the group every step of the way.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one additional question. You had mentioned the cancellation policy and the fact that you would get, if you can't, I think you said 72 hours prior, you get all non-refundable.
Up to 75%.
Up to 75%. And non-refundable would be what? Like what non-refundable items are we talking about? Like the hotel,
So it depends. I'd have to look at the exact breakdown at that point. But that is something that we will share with the group once we get, before we get to a date where, okay, things start to be non-refundable, which will likely be somewhere in early to mid-February. We'll talk, communicate with the group and let them know, okay, from this point forward, certain items will no longer be refundable. We'll have you sign another waiver, understanding, whatever the risks, financial risks may be moving forward. And And we'll have that exact breakdown. So I couldn't say off the top of my head right now what would not be refundable, but certainly portions of the flight and the payments we've already made. So it could be the hotel, it could be just some other items at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Hopefully this has piqued your interest, and I will follow up with you to share more information, and we're available if you have any questions.
And please do reach out to me if you have questions or anything about the program. I think it'll be a great opportunity for students to engage in. And so encourage your friends and your buddies to come along. And it could be a great opportunity for you. And so reach out to me with questions or any concerns that you have.
This is Dr. Martin. Sorry I wasn't able to chat earlier. I'm also happy to serve as a resource to you. Thank you, Laura and Amy, for also being a part of this as well.
Thank you, Dr. Martin.